Welcome to the Sage Distribution and Manufacturing Operations 2024 September release. In this release, we are excited to introduce newly redesigned inquiry screens for sales order lines and stock journals. The new report and form designer enhancements in this release will surely be a time saver in your business. We are also introducing the functionality of sequence number management for master data. And finally, we are introducing Phantom Bill of Materials to enhance your manufacturing processes. Let's take a closer look at these enhancements. The sales order line inquiry now features infinite scrolling, allowing for a smoother, continuous exploration of results. You can now group results by criteria such as company, sales site, sold to customer, and sales order number. Additionally, individual lines or the entire inquiry result can now be exported as a CSV file. Let me show you a bit more detail. Here is the previous version sales order line inquiry. We can choose our criteria such as company, then show the results. If we need to change the criteria, we must run the search again. Also, the results were limited and we had to scroll through the results page. Here is the same screen in the new release. As you can see, as soon as the page loaded, you have all your records based on the filters. There is an infinite scroll without having to page through the results. In addition, you can add and remove columns to suit your needs by going into column settings and then choosing the columns you want to see. You can group by a column, such as the item in the column options. Here you can see the inquiry grouped by item, and when drilling down into the item, you can see the group totals at the bottom. You can then further filter the data, for example by choosing certain statuses. It is another time-saving feature. If you need to drill down into the customer and look at something inside, use these helpful breadcrumbs to easily return to the inquiry screen. To quickly clear all the filters, over on the right, choose Clear All Filters and ungroup by going into the column options. Best of all, you can focus on targeted data by choosing your filters. Select a date range and then export this inquiry so that you can slice and dice the data even further in Excel. The same enhancement is available on the Stock Journal inquiry screen. Here is the old Stock Journal inquiry screen. We select a site and optionally choose a range of items, then perform a search. Our results appear on the page. And here is the new Stock Journal inquiry screen. You can see that it has all the same enhancements as what we just saw in the sales order lines inquiry. We have the infinite scroll that lets us view all records on one page. We can group by site or other columns. When we expand the results, the group totals appear. We can filter by a column. For example, I can search for all items that contain the word chair. We can also drill into the document further and then find our way back. We can export into Excel to further analyze the data or to share the results with others. With these new inquiry screens, you can expect accurate and complete inquiries, enhancing your sales order and stock processes. The report and form designer has undergone several improvements. When creating a list report, you now have the option to include a default header and footer. We are introducing conditional blocks in this release, where information is displayed only after a certain condition is met. You'll also be able to display watermarks on reports and forms. Numeric fields in the list report grids are automatically formatted. And we've added the ability to import and export report templates. First, we'll look at the default headers and footers. I'll create a simple list report by going to Administrator, Reporting, and then Report. Using the wizard, we'll create an item list report to help us perform a physical count. We'll choose List, then select Item as the data source. We'll add the item name, and then the quantity. Then complete the creation of the report. We'll type in the name Physical Count and a description. Now, right before we select Finish, there is an option to include a default header and footer. We'll turn this on, and the header appears, the report name. The footer shows the printed by name, the date, and the page number. In previous versions, you needed to add these manually, so this new feature should save you a bit of time. You can always change the header and footer by editing the fields after saving the report. We'll select Finish to save the report. Let me show you another new feature. If we open any non-factory report template, over on the Settings tab, there is a watermark field in which we can type in anything we want. The watermark appears in the preview. Save the report to use it in the business. While we are here on this template, you'll notice the numeric values are now automatically formatted up to 2 decimal places. This enhancement should make the numeric data a bit easier to read. I will now demonstrate the new conditional blocks using the same physical count report. Conditional blocks display data based on whether a condition is met. On this physical count report, I want to control whether or not the in-stock quantity displays with a simple checkmark. To accomplish this, we first need a variable for this report. On the Variables tab, we'll add a line and enter the variable name printQty. We'll enter the title print quantity. Variable type is Boolean. Then we will tab all the way through to validate the variable and then save. Now we'll edit the report by opening the Templates tab and selecting Edit. Under Variables, you can see the variable we just created. However, it is not tied to anything right now. So we'll go to the Template tab, select In Stock Quantity, and then select the new Conditional Block option. We'll add a new condition. First, we have Value Type 1, which is either a property or a parameter. A property could be one of the other fields, whereas a parameter is a variable. The value type will be a parameter for this example, and the value is the variable we just created. Value type 2 is a constant, and value 2 is true. This condition is saying show this field if the print quantity variable is checked or true. We'll select Apply. Now, when we view the report, the quantities are not displayed because the print quantity is unchecked. When we check the option, the quantities are displayed. The new Conditional Blocks option empowers you to control the information displayed in your reports. Another great new feature is sequence numbers for master data. This feature unlocks the full potential of your data, empowering users to easily generate and allocate sequence numbers to items, suppliers, and customers. Here's how to set it up so that you can use this new feature. We'll start by creating a sequence number in Administration, General, Company Data, and Sequence Number. We'll create one for customers and enter the ID and the name. The definition level for master data is Application. We'll choose alphanumeric for type. The reset level determines how often the sequence is reset. Then we need to add the components, which consist of a constant, the day, company, site, and various other company data. For this example, we'll choose a constant called CUSDOM for domestic customers. We'll also add a 6-character sequence number, and we'll save this record. After saving the sequence number, we'll create supplier and customer categories. We will need to go to Administration, then select General, Company Data, and finally Supplier and Customer categories. In the main list of supplier and customer categories, we'll create a new customer category called Domestic Market. We'll enter a name and ID. Select the customer as the category, enable the sequence number management toggle. We'll then choose the customer sequence number ID we just created and save. Next, let's create a new customer. We'll go to Sales, Customer, and enter the required details marked with an asterisk. This includes the customer name and the category where we will choose the one we just created. The ID is grayed out when we select a category that has a sequence number set up. We'll enter all other mandatory details. Once saved, the ID field on the General tab is automatically populated. The same process is used for items. We need to create a new sequence number. This process includes providing the item's ID, name, sequence number, details, and components, just like we did for the customer sequence number. Now we will create an item. Here's a tip. We can create the required category on the fly from the category lookup. We'll need to enter the category name and activate the sequence number management toggle. We can then choose the item ID sequence management aligned with the newly created sequence number. If the ID information is entered before selecting the category, a warning will appear indicating that the selected category already has a linked sequence number. We will need to choose whether to use the current ID or generate a new one. This warning is a useful reminder. Once all mandatory fields are entered and the record is saved, the ID information will automatically appear. This effortless process is incredibly simple and user-friendly. To ensure that data integrity is maintained, you can update the next sequence number values. Go to the sequence number, then select Update Value under More Actions. In the pop-up window, you can enter a new value. When a new item is created and all the required information is entered and saved, the ID will be automatically updated. This straightforward process for sequence numbers is incredibly efficient and easy to follow. You can now create a phantom bill to manage a bill of materials as a subset of components to be used in the work orders. Here's a brief overview of how it works in SDMO. In Administration, Application Configuration, and Service Options, enable the Phantom Item option. After enabling the option, we'll create an item. We'll give it a name, assign a category, choose a type, and type in an ID. Then on the Management tab, we'll toggle on the Phantom option. As you can see here, it is no longer purchased or sold. If we toggle on any of the options above to purchase or sell the item and turn on the Phantom option, you'll notice all other options are disabled. We'll finish setting up this Phantom item so that it can be used in our bill of materials. Next, we'll create a phantom bill for this item. We'll go to Bill of Materials and add a new bill called Bolt 001. We'll choose the item we just created. And then we'll add all the components for this phantom bill. You'll note that I have also added a description on a couple of lines to indicate this is a phantom bill. I'll then save this bill. Now, I'll add this phantom bill to my main bill of materials as a component. I'll enter all the information, including the phantom bill we just created. And then we'll save the bill. As you can see here, the phantom bill is here with an easy-to-read description. This bill is now ready for work order. We'll enter a new work order for this bill. And save. You'll see all the components including the phantom bill. Improve your manufacturing process with the phantom bill in SDMO. Try out all these new features in the September 2024 release today.